Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Above the Bar podcast, where each week we belly up to the bar with a new guest, find out what they do, who they are, and what makes them great. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. Alrighty, folks, it is the Above the Bar podcast, and it's your host, Sean. We have bellied up to the bar here on December 17th. I had to think about that. You've got 7 more shopping days, 8 days till Christmas. And if your children are misbehaving, just go ahead and take that stupid elf and threaten to touch it and rub your hand in front of it. Maybe pick up the small dog that you have and hold it in front of it and let your child know, continue your actions, and the elf gets it from the dog. And if you needed to know some other techniques on how to do these to small children, why not have a teacher here to teach us how to do it? And joining us all the way from literally 45 minutes away from me somewhere in that realm. If you did not know it, folks, it's the only county in New York State that they consider is still growing. The rest of this state is just slowly but surely disappearing as we lose 100,000 people a year. So joining us all the way from Saratoga Springs, New York, talking about how all of our health issues start in our gut, it's Miss Samantha Shaw.
Hello, everyone.
We were talking about it before. She's got a whole nother career, and we were talking about my kid was a pain in the butt today, and I was threatening with touching the elf. And if you've ever threatened your children with touching the elf, trust me, it's the new greatest. We don't like moving the thing, but once you've learned that you have power of threatening to touch the thing, whole different ball game with kids. Whole different ball game.
100%. I co-sign everything you said about the elf. Like you said, I'm the 4th grade teacher, and I know we talked about it before, but right now it's dangling that holiday party, the carrot in front of them right now. So I completely agree with where you're at.
Yeah, like the kids and all that. Oh, drives me absolutely bonkers, all of them. So, alrighty, folks. Well, let's get into it right quick here. Before we get too far, let's go ahead and take care of some house cleaning. As always, over my right shoulder, folks, it's the big board for sticker and cause. You have something you believe in, something you're supporting, something that you're looking for other people to know about. Maybe you have a program for gut health, or you have a podcast, or you have a YouTube page or a band, whatever it happens to be. You can reach out to us on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram. Our website is theabovethebarpodcast.com. Our email is theabovethebarpodcast@gmail.com. You reach out to me. You let me know what you got going on. I'll go ahead and share that with everybody under the sun that I can, so they can know what you got going on. That's how we spread the love. That's how we get everything around here going on. Next, let's talk about our sponsors, the people that actually pay the bills around this place. And that's Budget Blinds of East Greenbush, Budget Blinds of Hudson and Cooksaki. I could actually give Samantha all these names and she can actually pronounce them. That's a bonus right there. Budget Blinds of Delmar, Clifton Park, and Schoharie. North America's largest custom window treatment company. They're handling everything from blind, shade, shutters, drapery. They're doing custom motorization. They're doing tint. All of it is actually brought directly to your home so that you can see it. And that, I know this for a fact. They've had a couple of people, if you're looking for that last minute Christmas gift, where they've actually had a couple of people where they've had consultations go to their home because parents are like, hey, look, my kid's in a new house. I want to offer them a gift that's actually going to last, something that's going to be around for a long time, something that they're going to care about, and something they're not going to sell. Because if, as a parent, you have given your children some gift that you thought was absolutely amazing, and 3 weeks after Christmas, they've got it on Facebook yard sale. So this is one they can't sell on you. It's a pretty impressive thing to do. So make sure you're reaching out to your local Facebook. We're reaching out to your local Budget Blinds. And if you're here in the capital region, Budget Blinds of East Greenbush, Hudson, Cooksaki, Schoharie, Delmar, Clifton Park, all those locations, they are having a sale this month. It's 25% off all motorized shade. And as always, folks, if you tell them you're there to belly up to the bar, they're going to offer you another 5% off of your product. So make sure you're reaching out to them and seeing what they've got going on. All right, Miss Samantha, all the house cleaning is done.
Awesome.
All that stuff is over with. So how are things up in Toga?
You know, they're good. As you know, it's cold. It's freezing. if I could go south, I would. But for now, I have been enjoying my time up here.
Well, it's about to get balmy for us though. We're like 50 some degrees here any day now.
Yes, I think tomorrow is supposed to be about 50 or so, which is, crazy.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know it, like up around us, if it gets above 32 during the winter, we're like, man, it's really warm outside. It's like 35 degrees. For those of you that are listening in Florida, that is a real thing. That is what we do around this place. So tell everybody a little bit about what you got going on. And look, folks, as we're going through this, if you have questions for Samantha, you like what we're talking about, make sure you're hitting that like, share, follow, all those cliche things. And if you want to know what she's got going on, you can check out her website, which is GUT feelings with an S at the end of it, co.org, and you can see what she's got going on. So tell everybody a little bit about what you got going on there, Samantha.
All right. Well, I will start off by, I mentioned it before, I am a fourth grade teacher. So that is my current full-time job. And that has directly impacted my drive to go into this field as far as an integrative health practitioner. So last year I got certified. It was about a 2-year long course or program. And I think it really stemmed from the fact of, teachers, as you've probably heard, burnout, stress, overwhelm, exhaustion. And I'm only in my 4th year of teaching right now. And I feel like I've experienced every single emotion under the sun. So I can only imagine, what my colleagues have been feeling that, are more seasoned in what they do. So my personal story stems from that and just wanting to heal my body, heal my mind, and everything that falls in between. And doing this research has really helped me understand that a lot of these symptoms that I was experiencing personally originated in my gut. And then we can go way into that. But I do want to mention too that my family, they are chronic overworkers, as I would consider myself too at this point.
Called having a good work ethic.
Yeah.
Overworkers, it's good work ethic.
Okay, we could go with that, I guess. But so I see my dad, he works, at some point he was working 12-hour days, my mom, multiple jobs, same with my dad. And it was also, they could give my sister and I the life that we have, which we are both so appreciative of. But seeing that and growing up and, embodying some of those traits, those same hardworking traits that they have, I'm starting to realize now that, it might not be a horrible thing to start looking at what are these long-term health challenges that my family has been facing, that I'm slowly starting to see myself facing as well. And so my goal has just been to help people feel at home in their bodies again, because I think sometimes, we start to feel like a shell of ourselves, whether it's because career takes over or it's because, relationships take over, whatever the case is or may be. I want people to feel that vitality, that zest for life. And, I'm still working to get that back from the overexhaustion of just 4 years of teaching and a current teacher still. So yeah, that's kind of where my story began.
And I tell you, and again, folks, make sure you're checking out that website. Taking a look here, but I guess, so tell everybody a little bit about this certification process. Cause before you, I never had heard the term integrative health practitioner. Like it sounds very homeopathic to me, but I really don't know what an integrative health practitioner is.
Yeah. So what an integrative health practitioner is, it's somebody who really takes a look at all areas of medicine. And it doesn't just focus in on one body part, one chronic illness. It really takes a look at the whole person. Because for me, another thing I dealt with growing up was a lot of skin issues. Okay. And this goes back to really why I got into this work as well. So for me, my outward symptoms that would show up would be, dry skin, acne, all the things that you see on the outside, and you're questioning what is going on in the inside. I'm doing everything right. I'm doing all the things. And then you start to ask yourself, what is wrong with me? So this integrative health practitioner certification really helped me look at my whole body as one and not isolate certain body parts, or in my case, not isolate my skin from the rest of my body.
Okay.
So technically, what an integrative health practitioner does is they focus on naturopathy, orthomolecular medicine, bioregulatory.
No, stop. What is say that again? What are they? What?
Orthomolecular medicine.
What is that?
So it really goes into the biology of the being that you're dealing with, as far as like the human being in front of you, at a molecular or molecule base or standpoint. So it takes like the smallest version, and you piece together, and then you have your whole being, who you are as a person. So it's really breaking down, how we can help at that root cause. And that's pretty much the fundamentals of what I do, is getting to the root cause and not just treating the symptoms. It also blends Chinese medicine. It blends, what else? Ayurvedic medicine, herbalism.
Okay. What kind?
Ayurvedic.
What is that? So you got to help us break some of these down, because that's
Yes.
a term I've never heard before.
And that one, I could be pronouncing it a little wrong. I just want to lay that out
I've never
there.
heard you pronounce anything, so
I probably didn't even have to say that, because you.
I'd have been like, sounds good to me.
Right. So again, it's blending the type of medicine that focuses on more of that holistic standpoint.
Okay.
So what I do is I don't completely disregard conventional medicine. I think conventional medicine is great. I think sometimes, me personally, I was strayed in the wrong direction when it came to conventional medicine, and, given antibiotic after antibiotic, or stimulant, or anxiety medication. And for me personally, it just created a laundry list of symptoms that I would need more medication for. So then I ended up in this cycle of, I'm not actually treating what's actually going on in my body. Plus I'm adding more things onto, what needs fixing, quote unquote. So going back to the original question, an integrative health practitioner really covers all areas, but it focuses on the whole body.
Now, do you work? It's very interesting, because I love the idea that it sounds to me like people come to you like, here's my laundry list of things. And it sounds like, and correct me if I'm wrong, you're kind of taking, well, your dermatologist said this, your GP said this, your other doctor said this, and you kind of look at them all together and kind of say, hey, are these guys talking to each other? Because this one's giving you a medication that one of the symptoms is skin issues, and then your dermatologist is treating you for the same exact skin issue. Do they know that this is that what you're doing?
So that is basically what my challenge was, and the obstacle is because I personally felt like they were doing an amazing job trying to get to the bottom of the challenges that I was going through, but it almost seemed like everyone was dealing with a separate issue. And then at some point it's going to clash, unless everybody's on the same page. You're looking at that whole person. And for me personally, what I do with my clients is I go through a de-stress protocol. The name is very fitting, but it does stand for something else. So it goes diet, exercise, stress reduction, toxin removal, rest, emotional balance, success mindset, and sleep optimization. Mm-hmm. So you can kind of see how I'm getting from every part of somebody's life and lifestyle, working with them to create wellness protocols. So that way I can really individualize my care and helping them rebalance their bodies.
I love that. That's such a unique approach to the entire thing. Now, how did you even find this though? Like how did you even stumble across something like this?
Well, I was so determined to figure out how to heal myself. I was just at a point seeing myself and the state of being that I was in, and seeing my family, like I said, my parents. So I did research. I'm a perfectionist, so I did not quit until I found the one that was perfect for me. And it was the Integrative Health Practitioner Institute, run by Dr. Stephen Cabral. So I want to give him credit. But he's an amazing naturopath. And I'm so, so glad that I was able to do this program with him.
So you were like, hey, I got to take care of me, and just fell into this. And again, folks, if you're just joining us here, we got Samantha Shaw. We're talking about her journey into becoming, say it again, and I almost said integrative.
Oh, I like
Words are tough. Words are tough, folks. But her path into her current role, and I'm going to try to say it again here in a minute, but we're really talking about the whole gut side to it and how things manifest in our gut. So if you have any questions, you're curious about what she's got going on, you can always check out her website, gutfeelingco.org, see what's happening there, drop your questions, and we'll talk about them. The host is, listen, Troy Arndt. So let's talk about guts for a second here, because Troy thinks because he's 51 years old, and yes, I know how old you are, Troy, because you're 2 years older than I am. Um, he's 52, and he's so happy. Look at me, man. I'm ripped, my ripped abs. But he also does the intermittent fasting where, he doesn't start eating till 12:30, and he's done eating by 6:30 every day. No, the whole 9 yards. He's also, just so you're aware, was the same friend that, like, hey man, we're gonna go do something. Oh, let me get on the bike and ride 80 miles for a
Oh my gosh.
triathlon before him. We were in the Marine Corps together, so he can
Mm-hmm.
talk all the smack he wants to. I also, and it won't make any sense to anyone but me, him, and his wife. But I've seen him eat Chooch's ass before, so uh, don't start with me. But how does that affect? Like, is it really healthy? Like, you hear all these different things, like, yeah, intermittent fasting is healthy, and then you hear like, it may not be as healthy as we think it is. In your experience and through your training, what's your thoughts?
So I would say it's very bio individual based on the person in front of me. I would never say like a blanket statement, everyone should fast, everyone should not fast. I think one of the things I do offer is functional lab testing. So if you do a hair tissue mineral analysis test, if you do an organic acids test, any of the functional labs that I offer, I can actually coach you through based on the markers that I see, based on your blood sample, a urine sample, a hair sample. And then I can go through and see maybe this would be a good idea for you or maybe not. It really just depends on your health goals. One of the things, though, that I highly recommend is doing a liver detox seasonally, so 4 times a year. I personally have not done it 4 times a year yet. I've only done it twice a year. But that kind of goes into the fasting too. So what it is you fast for 2 days. I love it. That was so fitting. So it's 2 days of fasting, but you have a protein powder that goes with it. And it also contains fiber and all of the minerals and nutrients that your body still needs, even when you're fasting. And so it's 2 days of that. And then after that, it follows a very strict, I use the term diet loosely, but it follows a paleo
Program.
style.
It's a strict meal program.
Yeah, exactly. So I'd say, that offers your body the chance to get rid of all those toxins, anything in your body that should not be there. Think of it like a Pac-Man. So every quarter that you do a liver detox, the Pac-Man's going through and getting out all that nasty stuff in your body. And then it kind of resets your liver for that detoxification.
Now, I want to talk about some of those tests that you're talking about, like, and how they affect, because there's a lot of things out there. There's a lot of these, I call them Oprah doctors, even though Oprah's not on TV. Like, these would be the people that she'd be like, Dr. Oz, you got to get to, and he's going to tell you all these things. But a lot of these tests they talk about, how many of them are actually available? Or do you even know how many of them are actually covered by insurance, because that's what for a lot of people, they're like, listen, I would have a full body testing done, but my insurance doesn't cover it. So, and I'm not
Mhm.
dropping $600 because they don't have it. Yeah, that's the guy, Gary Brecka. He's like, oh, you should do all these different testing. Like, do you know how many of these should be done uh like that, or is it more like, and where can you even get them done at?
Yeah, so that is one of those things that even, if I could be a spokesperson for that and advocate for more testing and cheaper prices to be paid by insurance, that would 100% be a goal of mine. Unfortunately, most tests, functional lab tests, are not covered by insurance. And another barrier is that a lot of them don't ship to certain states. And for some reason, New York is one of them. I don't really know why.
For those of you that can't see it, Troy says, I'm sure my test will be cheaper. Listen, skinny ass.
Oh my gosh. But
And
but
it's,
yeah.
so they won't even ship those tests up here to New York?
No, so I actually have to get mine shipped through to my relatives that live in Pennsylvania, which is it's crazy that it becomes such a barrier to your health. But anybody that's not living in New York or has a relative, I do offer a discounted price for labs as an integrative health practitioner. So you can check out my website there.
That's so weird. Like, what is New York's law that prohibute? Because the I'm assuming the testing is just they're being like their sample bottles and whatnot are being sent to you, and you're
Hmm.
just mailing them back to somebody. Like, I could get the colon cancer test sent to me without a
Hmm.
problem. Like, what do you know why they're not available here?
I honestly have no idea why. It makes no sense to me because New York usually is so on it with certain things. And it's just this one kind of fell through the cracks. I'm hoping, I've talked to people and they said that they're in the works potentially, but until then, I have no idea.
That sounded like we're thinking about it, maybe.
Yeah, fingers crossed because that would make
Potentially in
my
the
life
works.
easier.
Well, it's interesting because I mean, I go through the VA for all my medical treatment, and I know that's something I've asked them before about, like, hey, I'd like to get some of this additional full body medical testing done, and they're very much like the VA here in Albany is great, but they're very like,
Mhm.
we only do it if you really need it.
Right,
Well, I
right.
want to know it. Like for men, one of the things is like testosterone
Mhm.
therapy. And I don't know, I think the numbers is you're supposed to be like, if you're less than 400, they're like, yeah, you know, you you can have it, but the VA is very much like, yeah, if you're not like pushing
Mhm.
like low numbers, they won't even give it to you. So you got to go through a third party, which kind of makes me think about some of the third party stuff, like what you're doing. What's the other side to it? Everybody wants their gut to feel better. We hear a lot about gut stuff with your, like you said, like all your medical stuff. Really, you can tell, like, if somebody's not feeling well, they're normally bloated, they get overweighted, we overeat when we don't, we overeat when we're not feeling well, which means we're not digesting things properly. But the
Mhm.
other side of it, what are some of the dangers of, you know going and finding somebody, I do homeopathic medicine, but they don't have any kind of real training like you've taken?
I think there's a huge danger in that, just the number one thing being misinformation. My goal is to really give that information because, a lot of times, like you said, it's not as accessible as other treatments or conventional medicine is. So to have other people, speaking out of turn, for lack of a better word or phrase, it can be dangerous because, with so much information, people don't know what to do with that information. They might just say, why not? Let's just try that. And it could be very detrimental to their health.
Troy's talking about, do you know what he means by ACV? What's ACV?
I'm going to guess it's apple cider vinegar.
Oh,
I
why
think.
didn't you say apple cider vinegar, you fool? He's from
Was he
Wisconsin.
testing me? I think he was testing me.
He's from Wisconsin. Listen, he's from the biggest state of drunks I've ever been to in my life. Have you ever been to Wisconsin?
I've never been before.
Listen, you want to talk about eating, stick to your rib food like hearty.
Uh-huh.
German, Polish, like eat like things that like, eat this 4 pounds of like sauerkraut and kielbasa and
Yeah.
wash it down with like a pint of something. Uh,
Uh-huh.
and then he want to talk about ACV. Come on, start like this. Yes, he said too much
Well,
spelling. I told you he was special and slow. He's one of
well,
my
I'm
closest and
I'm
oldest
loving the
friends.
engagement. I think that's awesome. So
But
I would
yes,
say, oh, go ahead.
no, no, I was going to ask you, like Troy, you have to tell me what that does. Maybe you know offhand, Samantha, what something like that is supposed to do or what that is. So he's saying he drinks apple cider vinegar, lemon juice, and electrolytes every night before he goes to bed. What is that supposed? What would something like that be doing for the body?
Well, apple cider vinegar specifically is really helpful when it comes to digestion. So I'd say that's no problem at all. As far as the lemon juice, I personally have, or I don't know if he said lemon juice or lemon
Yes,
water, but
he said lemon juice.
lemon juice. Okay. So yeah, in the morning, what I do actually is I have like a room temperature glass of water and I actually put some fresh lemon in it and it helps, hydrate, awaken your body, get the digestion going. So great there too. And then electrolytes are amazing.
Yeah, it's just. I mean, I understand the electrolytes piece, but what are you hoping to do with this, Troy? Like 2 hours before you go to bed. I what do we? Is Steph like putting a pillow over your face because you're annoying her? I don't understand this. That was your stage name, wasn't it, Troy? Couple of squirts. I thought that was your stage name. So
I
I
would
mean,
say, I I don't see a harm in it as long as your body is not, reacting in a way that doesn't feel right to you.
yeah, I mean, it's absolutely fascinating to me because I mean, there is so much to all these different things and all these different, medications and gut health. But I'm curious. So he's saying this is a gut health thing. Like, what would these things be doing to help my gut and help with blood sugar? I don't understand it. Help me out here, Samantha. He's throwing out stuff and I don't understand it.
Well, okay, so I can kind of describe the gut a little bit, tell what it
Please.
does, and I think maybe we can make some well, I can make some connections to what he's saying, I'm thinking. So, just to start off, the gut is not the stomach. That's a misconception that a lot of
Oh,
people
really?
have. Yes, yeah, and that was something I learned in this course too. So, the gut is related to the GI tract. So, it includes the colon or the large intestine, as well as the small intestines. The stomach is an organ kind of above that, actually. So it's interesting because when people say they feel bloated, they always point to like their belly button area
Right.
and they think that that's your stomach. And that's what I thought too. So I'm in the
Sure.
same boat. But it's actually that's your small intestines. So when you feel bloated, it's your small intestines that are, feeling that inflammation because of, an imbalance in the bacteria in there, which relates back to the gut because it's part of the GI tract.
Troy, I just sent you a link if you want to bring your ass on and explain all this because I don't know nothing about it. And you can talk to Samantha and I'll just sit back and look handsome because I'm clueless. I'm trying to, because that's actually for myself, that's something that since I retired out of the Marine Corps, um, really, uh, I'm surprised yours wasn't spotty. I don't have any issues with my colonoscopies other than drinking that gross ass stuff, but be ready. But that's something that I've struggled with since I've retired, and it actually was something I struggled with while in the Marine Corps. I used to tell them all the time, like, listen, everything I eat, I could eat a peanut or I could eat a steak, it blows
Mhm.
me instantly,
Okay, yes. So,
and
mhm.
nobody can figure out. And they're like, well, here's an antacid, maybe that'll help, and nobody can really tell me what the issue is.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I dealt with too is, here's a pill, here's an antacid, and then it solves the problem right then and there, but what happens when you eat a grape again the next day and the same thing
Right.
happens and you're like, what's going on? So I don't know if anyone can see this. Can you I mean, I know
Yep.
you
Yeah,
can
they
see
can
this.
see your hands. Yeah.
So basically, your gut has a lining in it. It's a protective barrier, and it sits between what you eat and the rest of your body. So its job is to be very, very secure like this. When and it creates like a filter. So nothing's really supposed to seep in here besides the important minerals and nutrients that your body needs. But when we have somebody that has, a lot of permeability or in other words, leaky gut. It sounds way worse than it actually is. But what it is like it starts to separate. And then you have these openings and all that undigested food particle or proteins or toxins, they seep in. And that's what's causing that inflammation or that bloating or the weight changes that people describe. So you really can't just, put that antacid over it, even though we all do that. And I do that too. It's getting to that root cause and trying to heal and seal that gut lining.
See, that's fascinating to me because, what you're explaining, listen, I've seen the epileptologist and, doing all the liver stuff. And they're always like, yeah, we don't know what's causing it. And here you are telling me, yeah, you've got a leaky gut.
Right.
Like you've never
looked. The name, it needs to be rebranded. I don't like the name.
Listen, no, it doesn't. It needs to be scary. Stop. Like people try to rebrand things so that they sound fluffy. Unless it's scary, nobody gives two craps.
I guess you're right about that. That's true.
It's got to be.
It does kind of sound scary.
Like if somebody told me, like, "Hey, dude, your gut's leaking," like, "Oh God, am I shitting on myself?" like that's what it sounds like to me.
Yeah,
so it's got to have that vibe to it. And again, folks, check out what. Listen, I feel like a hippopotamus sometimes, Troy. Like, listen, and for me, I always tell everybody, like, when I retired and my stresses changed and everything, I went from retiring at 170. I'm 210 now all day long. I carry it better than Troy does at his 215, but that's a whole nother story. But it really does sound interesting. So what are some of the first steps that somebody should take if they're really starting to say, like, hey, listen, my belly's bloating, I'm feeling that irritation, I'm feeling those feelings. What are some of the first steps that somebody could take before they get into really like, okay, I've got to like full blown on point dietary changes. I'm drinking apple cider vinegar and whale juice or whatever it is Troy's drinking, before they really have to dig into those things. What are some of the first changes people can do?
So stress plays a huge part in this. And this is something that I realized very early on. So for me specifically, I thought I was doing all the right things. I'm eating the foods that they're telling me to eat. I'm drinking enough water. I'm doing all these things and taking my supplements. Nothing's changing. So I realized stress was the main root cause for me specifically. And that was actually affecting my digestion. So the foods that I was eating, I was not absorbing the nutrients, even though they were great foods. The supplements I was taking, I was not absorbing the benefits of that either. And I think a naturopath that I went to actually said, it's pretty funny. She says, you have very expensive pee. And I was like, what?
Oh, okay.
I was like, what? Like,
you're going to need
on this on that one. And I said, she had said, because you're getting the expensive foods, you're spending money on the whole foods, the organic foods, you're spending all this money on supplements, but you are in a constant state of fight or flight all the time when you're eating. So your body's not absorbing it and it's just eliminating all that good stuff you're putting in your body.
Interesting.
So stress, I think, is number one. And, it might not be the easiest thing for people to change right away, because I don't think I've met a person that hasn't been stressed or isn't in a chronic state of stress at some point or another in their life. The best thing I can offer my clients is to say, you have to take your deep breaths before you eat. You have to try your best to not be in that fight or flight when you are eating. And if you know for a fact that that's not possible, choose softer foods. So that way you.
What do you mean by softer foods? What do you mean by softer foods?
So like literally physically softer. So if we think of a piece of steak, there's something called a fork test. So this is some kind of new. If you squish a fork on a piece of steak, if the food doesn't go through the prongs, it's not soft. So your body's going to take a lot longer to digest it because it has to break it down. Whereas think of a sweet potato that just came out of the oven. You take a fork, you squish it down, all the sweet potato comes through the prongs of the fork. That is
Okay.
easier for your body to digest. So if all else fails, when you're in your most stressed state, it's important to eat foods that you can digest a little bit easier.
If you would like to just refer to Troy as a jackass, you're more than welcome to.
Pizza. I can't argue with pizza is soft.
Pizza soft.
The cheese goes through those prawns.
The spot on the back of your head from when you were a baby's still soft, Troy. Give me a break. God, pizza soft. I love you, brother. Where is your wife at? When does she know you're on the internet? Are you allowed on the internet? Goodness gracious. So now you talk about some of these different folks that you ran in, and for those that are in the capital region that are watching this or listening to this, because there's plenty of us. You've mentioned like a naturopath and all these. I didn't even know these were people in our area.
I didn't either until I think last year, like very recent. I just discovered all of these people.
So you just kind of found them in the area, like just Google, like, hey, they're out here somewhere.
Yep.
That's wild to me because, I mean, I think about some of this, and I really do. I'm the worst trier in the world, though. I'm the person like, listen, if you tell me it's working, I'll give it a shot.
Uh-huh.
I'll go for it. Jackass here was like, hey, I only eat between 12:30 and 6:30, and I'm like, I could probably do 12 to 6. So I started doing it, gave it a shot.
Mhm.
Didn't notice a huge difference for myself, but I definitely run that stress train. How about like from the standpoint for this gut health? How about like, is there anything? And this probably sounds like I don't know, like an anti-stress foods. I know you mentioned soft foods, but
Mhm.
foods that like where you mentioned like the breathing beforehand, and I'm a big fan. We have a former guest. He's known as the Willful Warrior, and he's a big breath work person.
Mhm.
Took himself from being a quadriplegic once and a paraplegic another time. This like twice
Mhm.
using breath work and got back work of his limbs.
Wow.
Yeah, it's Leland's his name. Absolutely incredible. But
Mhm.
like what are some of the things that you're when you mention this, like are there particular foods that you would say like, hey, these are foods that are a little more anti-stress? Like, hey, I know we all love some hot wings on Sunday while watching football, but that's not a food that's an anti-stress. Or should we be looking at like things that have a little more spice to them, a little bit more heat that kind of
Mhm.
up your metabolism?
Well, first I would definitely want to start out by saying I eat a range of things. So I'm preaching, to eat certain things and to follow certain protocols, but it's all about balance, have a cheeseburger, have the pizza, have the ice cream whenever you need, listen to your body. As far as feeling that anti-stress though, I'd say for me personally, a starchy vegetable. So I mentioned the sweet potato because that's one of my favorite things to have. It soothes my body, it's warm, it passes the fork test. And then also, I personally, it might not be for everybody, I enjoy a good quality rice or quinoa, things that just feel nourishing, but they don't make me feel like I can't move for hours, which I do have foods like that too. And I enjoy those nights as well. But
So can I completely give you a piece of information that uh, you're going to be like, what? Do you know vegetables aren't real?
what? Oh, you called it.
I knew you were going to be like, what? So vegetables are actually that term vegetable
Uh-huh.
is a term used in kitchens to describe certain types of foods, but vegetables aren't real. What is a potato?
Would it be considered a starch then? Or,
A tuber.
oh,
What is a bean?
a bean? Why do I want to say a bean is a bean? I don't know.
It's a loom. It's a loom.
Uh-huh.
So what's a tomato?
I have no idea.
It's a fruit.
Fruit? Yeah.
So vegetable is just a term used in kitchens to describe certain types of foods. Like
Oh my
a
gosh.
lettuce, a lettuce is a leafy green.
Mm-hmm.
Spinach is a leafy green. It is not a vegetable.
That is so interesting.
So vegetable is just a term. Uh, you know, now do fruit. Yes, I know, Troy. Now do fruit. But it's an interesting thing that I know for me from an eating standpoint when they're like, you should eat your fruits and vegetables. Okay, well, what's a
Mhm.
vegetable? And when you understand that nothing is a vegetable. It's
Right.
not a real term. It's a culinary term to describe certain types of things. Really changes your
That is so
trajectory.
interesting.
Yeah, because it makes sense to you once I explain it.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because you want to be like, well, a cucumber is a vegetable. No, it's not.
Hmm.
You know, a cucumber is it's in the squash family. I can't think of what the right term is right now. But yeah,
Right.
that's a completely piece of worthless knowledge for you that you can use.
That is completely helpful.
Yeah,
So thank you.
you,
I love
you're
that.
very, you're very, very welcome. So I don't know. I don't remember. No, Troy, peanuts. I know peanut. Here's a stupid one. Peanuts grow underground, folks. If you didn't know that, I don't know how many people actually don't know that peanuts grow underground. You know,
Mhm.
for whatever the reason is, and we had a president who was a peanut farmer. So we know that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Jerry Carter was a peanut
Yeah.
farmer.
Yeah.
Um, listen, what completely sidebar? What do you teach? Is it just a little bit of everything?
Yeah. So fourth grade, it covers pretty much everything.
Yes, yes, Troy. All and that's a good point here. He mentions how most foods are nutritionally deficient, and you were talking about you were spending a lot of money at the Whole Foods and the what's the other one,
Hmm.
Trader Joe's, and I don't know if you went to Honest Weight. Also, I love Honest Weight. That's a
Uh-huh.
place we're big fans of around here. How do we address those type? Excuse me. How do we address those kind of things to make sure that the foods we are getting do have the proper nutritional value? If we are concerned with gut health and all that, how do you start to address those things?
That's such a great question. So yes, most people are nutrient deficient just because of the foods that we are given nowadays, and that comes from the soil. So the soil is so nutrient deficient, and specifically, one of the nutrients or the minerals is magnesium. So I think the percentage is probably like 90% at this point. Don't quote me on that, but it's most Americans are magnesium deficient. So that's just one mineral. I would say supplementation is one of the areas that I cover in my practice as well, is huge. So to cover those nutritional gaps that we are all facing and feeling in our bodies, that's where supplementation can come in, and choosing a high quality supplement.
Well, you weren't far off. I just Googled it real quick and it says around 50% not meeting daily needs as high as 75%,
Wow.
depending on studies and
Yeah.
criteria, with some sources uh, figuring links between 52.2 or 60% not getting enough from diet alone, highlighting a widespread issue linked to modern diets, processed foods, and soil depletion. Wow,
Mm-hmm. And
that's
that
huge.
all affects the gut. It goes all back to the gut, which is
Now, what
it's
does your gut do with magnesium? I didn't even know that.
Well, magnesium is a calming agent and it's a calming mineral for us. So, what your gut does is it helps you. He takes magnesium every night. It's nice.
He's a special little boy. Just let him know. Tell him he's a special little
Oh,
boy.
Troy, that's awesome. I take magnesium every night too.
You're a special child, Troy.
So the what the gut does is it actually helps your hormone regulation. It metabolizes your hormones. So another fun fact for everybody is that 90 to 95% of serotonin is made in your gut, which a lot of people think it's made in your brain. So it's a common misconception.
Yeah, I had
Um,
no idea.
yeah, so it's very important to treat your gut how you would want to treat your brain, because there is something called a gut brain axis as well. So your brain and your gut are always communicating with one another. Like I said, it metabolizes hormones. It helps your immune system. Really, everything starts in that gut or that microbiome. And this is also a crazy fact, but you have trillions of microbes in your gut which contribute to all of these functions that we just talked about, which is it's kind of eerie to think about that there's trillions of little critters in your gut.
Wonderful. And real, because I have something I want to talk about here in a second, but we are hitting that 45-minute mark, folks, and it's time for the New Scotland Spirits last call. And this one is when you're poor with purpose. This week's episode is brought to you by New Scotland Spirits. For those who know life's who know life's too short for bland whiskey. This isn't mass produced. It's handcrafted, small batch whiskey made right here in upstate New York. Bold, smooth, and made from local grains with real character, because what's in your glass should say something about you. Whether you're celebrating, winding down, or just pouring one for the hell of it, make it a bottle worth remembering. Find your pour at newscotlandspirits.com. New Scotland Spirits, when you're poor with purpose. All right. So you kind of reminded me of something, the sympathetic nerve.
Yes.
That's all gut to brain, isn't it? If I remember that correctly.
Yes.
And that makes sense. Like, how is some of that then affected by, is that even affected by some of these things?
Oh, 100%. Your neurotransmitters. So you got, your serotonin, your dopamine with that gut brain axis. There's something called a vagus nerve that runs through there. And what that does is it puts you in your parasympathetic nervous system, the vagus nerve. And the parasympathetic nervous system is what you want to be in. It's your rest, your digest state, whereas the sympathetic nervous system, so my teachers, my nurses, my doctors, pretty much every American will know that's what we mostly are in, and that's your fight or flight. And that goes back to, it affects your digestion. Oh, words with me too.
Words are tough sometimes.
Your digestion, your hormones, your cortisol levels, adrenaline, all of that can get inflamed and heightened, and that can put you in that state of fight or flight.
Interesting. And Troy just brought up, and this is interesting. He said he's heard a statement that the only reason we are alive is to maintain those critters in our guts. They go away, we go away. What's your thoughts on that?
I've actually heard something similar to that. And I think there's honestly some truth to that. I would agree and say that the gut and the microbiome that houses all these microbes, they are the key to how we live, how we function. So I would agree with that.
So that's interesting to me. So tell us a little bit about your process. So I pick up the phone or I go on to your website, gut feelings with an S at the end at co.org. And I want to get myself back in and kind of get my gut together. What's the process?
So first, I offer my clients a free discovery call always, so that way we can make sure that we're a good fit for each other. I would hate to, feel like the client did not get what they want from me. So I want to give them the benefit of the doubt, have that free discovery call, see if we're going to be a good pairing together as far as can I meet your goals and, how far we can go with this together. After that, if they choose to work with me, I would do an intake. It's a couple pages of a questionnaire about everything in their lifestyle. How do you feel when you wake up? Do you feel like you bloat after certain meals? Is it after every meal? How stressed are you? It just goes through their daily lifestyle to see how I can really individualize my approach for that specific client. I offer 3 different packages online, and this can be for anybody in the entire world, basically, because it's all virtual. So if you choose to do the first package, we meet on a monthly basis. It's a 4-month program. And what I do is I help your body get rebalanced through those pillars that I talked about at the beginning, the de-stress protocol. And then if my clients want to add on any functional medicine labs, that would even individualize my approach with them more so, because I'm really getting a clear picture as to what is truly going on inside your body and how is it imbalanced in its current state. And from there, we work together. It's, very open, transparent, collaborative. They can reach out to me at any point. I get back to them with questions, information, handouts, and just creating that wellness protocol for them.
And what's the timeline for something like, so if I picked up the phone today and was like, hey, no, Troy, no one stops. No one likes a quitter. Ridiculous. No one likes a quitter. But what's the timeline? So if I picked up the phone today, I know you were talking about some of these different tests and everything. Mm-hmm. How hard is it? Like, do we need those tests, or is it more like, hey, step one, talking, step two, we got to figure out how to get you these tests? How does that part work?
Yeah. So no one necessarily needs a test. It's a great added bonus. I'd say if it's available to you, absolutely go for it. But, we talked about it before, finances and just the barrier of certain states not even allowing you to send it out and in. I would hate for that to be the reason that somebody doesn't get help as far as, whatever they need help with, anti-stress, sleep optimization, toxin removal. So for me, I would still work with that client. It would be a 4-month protocol. And I still see healing in clients, even without the testing, because, after a while, you start to see patterns in the body. And no matter who you are and how individualized you make that protocol, there can be a lot of overlap with certain things I'm seeing. So the tests are great. They're not necessary. And my goal is to really just do anything and everything I can to make people feel at home in their bodies.
I love that approach. What is he? Oh, what's he at too? Those little critters in your guts do not like alcohol. Trust me, I asked. I keep trying to convince them otherwise. Listen, then you're just not this is why you were never actually a recruiter.
At least he asked, I guess.
Look, so Troy was born with a golden horseshoe up his ass. He's over here like, oh, I do this, I do that, I do. He's the only person I know broke his leg one time. Horrible. You break your leg. Compound fracture right through the skin.
Oh my gosh.
It's horrible, isn't it?
Yeah.
It was some stupid bone that only carries 10% of your body weight, and he was perfectly fine as soon as he healed up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, if I'd have done that, it'd have been my femur through my thigh.
Right.
Not Troy. Troy was like,
that's a story.
we're sitting in class one day.
It's 1 in a million.
We're sitting in class one day. Our instructor comes in the door and goes, "Hey, Arndt, you've been selected." He gets mad. I ain't doing duty. I'm in here to train and blah, 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 blah. Like, starts freaking out on this poor guy.
Oh my gosh.
He's like, relax. You've been selected for promotion to staff sergeant. He then gets mad again and goes, I haven't even got the MOS yet, blah, blah. He's like, why are you so mad? So before he sits here and talks about, I'll just,
yeah.
The man was born. He's one of those guys that like, blonde, like 6 foot tall, like all the bullshit. He's got great kids. Don't let him give you that. Had to do with alcohol as well. Yes, I know you were drinking. I still have a rod in my leg. Yeah, but it doesn't do nothing. So, any upcoming events, anything upcoming where people could be like, hey, you're going to be speaking at any engagements, anything like that coming up where you're discussing this with folks?
I don't have anything in the near future. Next year, though, I do the Schenectady City School District Wellness Fair. Actually, it just might be the Schenectady Wellness Fair. So I will be at that again. I believe that's in May. But other than that, I've been, more active on my social media, so people can look there for information. My thing is, I don't want information to be hidden or not accessible. I'd rather have people know the facts. So that way, because the goal is really for people to feel better and to feel that longevity, that vitality, that zest, like we talked about. So, follow me on those platforms and I can answer any questions.
I mean, this is absolutely fascinating because I mean, as I'm listening to the things you're saying and the way you're presenting it, it's like, oh yeah, no shit, that makes perfect sense. A lot of this, like, I'm actually curious to that. How many times when you explain this to people and you're like, you're bloated because you're stressed and you eat like shit, that they're not like that. Most people aren't like, that's not true. I'm having lettuce every day. Like there was lettuce on my cheeseburger. Like how many people really like when you break it down to its simplistic form, especially in a break room in a teacher's lounge when I, people got to have these questions of you.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Like how many of them are like, huh? I guess I never put those two things together.
Right. Well, it's things that we don't think about because we just think they happen or they're normal. Like with my skin issues, I was like up until a certain point, I'm like, this is just normal. But then it becomes not normal when it becomes unbearable. And that's when people ask questions about it.
Troy said, sorry you had to put up with him. Thank you for the great information. He's kind of crude and a bad conversation. I love you, brother. Someday you'll come back to New York and we'll hang out. You got stuck in Oklahoma, and I'm sorry to hear that. I love your wife more. She's way better than you. She's way cooler. So here, real quick, so I can tell you what Chooch's ass was, because I know you were like, why did he say he ate Chooch's ass? It's a pinwheel of you take tortillas. Here you go, folks. Here's a recipe for you. You take tortillas, like the soft ones, and you fill them with like cream cheese and all kinds of stuff, and then you roll it into a pinwheel and then cut it into slices.
Ooh, that sounds really good.
It's absolutely amazing. And his wife, Stephanie, makes them. And we used to eat them all the time. But Chooch was one of the guy's dogs that they knew. And so they looked like a dog's butt. So they were called Chooch's ass. So
that's hysterical. Oh my gosh.
So none of us ever got past age 13. We're all a bunch of 13-year-olds. And we defended our country. So at 13,
amazing.
Mentally 13 years old and never stopped, went beyond that point. And that's who we were. But not good for the gut, he said. But I love the guy. And we did a ton of stuff together over the years. Can't say enough. I was in his damn wedding. That's why I know Wisconsin.
Oh my gosh.
That's why I know Wisconsin's a bunch of drunks, because I was in Wisconsin for it.
I was going to ask, was it local or was it?
No, that shit was in Wisconsin. Listen,
yeah.
Ate good like a fat kid. And I've just never been to a place with more absolutely hot mess, drunken people having a good time. There was a bar across the street from the church. We were drinking before the wedding even started.
Oh my gosh. Well, sometimes you need nights and days like that with good people and good friends. So
we had an absolutely great time. Well, look, folks, we're getting ready to close up things here. Real quick, make sure you're going on to gutfeelingsco.org. See what Samantha's got going on. It's the same exact thing for her face or for her Instagram page. Goes by the same name, but I believe if I'm remembering right, it's gutfeelings_co or gutfeelingsco_.
That one. Yep. Gutfeelingsco_.
So make sure you're giving her a like, share, follow, see what she's got going on, see what she has happening. You can get all that. As of right now, folks, this is the last show of the year because New Year's Eve and Christmas Eve both fall on a Wednesday, and I have no intentions of being on here and really had no intentions of asking anyone to be a guest, because who the hell wants to come on here and spend an hour at 8:00 on night on Christmas Eve? I imagine you have way better places. So we will be back at it in January. Our first guest of the year, let me double check who that is because I always forget. So our first guest of the year is Joseph, a great last name, Joseph Evangelist. He's got a new podcast out. And it's even better. His last name is Evangelist. It's a faith-based business where he trains safety and defensive firearms and teaches houses of worship how to secure and defend their buildings by teaching their ushers and security teams to host information from extreme weather emergencies to medical emergencies, domestic issues, keeping children and congregations safe, as well as reality-based training inside of their houses of worship with mock drills and ongoing training. So We're going to be talking about that. I find it absolutely fascinating to me because so many, we always are seeing stuff about, unfortunately, houses of worship, regardless of, I know I'm a slacker, Troy. Well, how about this, Troy? Next, here you go, smart ass. Run your mouth, and this is what happens. Send me a message, and next Wednesday on Christmas Eve, you and I will spend an hour on this show, and we can just talk shit to each other the entire time. You let me know. I'll make that happen. And then we'll see who the slacker is. Love that, jackass. So all that being said, now I know, Samantha, because you're local in the capital region, you know so much about the show. You're completely inundated on everything we do. You know that the guest always gets the final word, and don't log off on me afterwards. We're going to talk for a minute after the show, but the guest always gets the final word. So what's our final word for tonight?
Our final word is wholeness.
Alrighty, folks, be sure to push your stool in. This has been a Second Front podcast presentation found on Apple, Spotify, and wherever podcasts can be found.